Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Spare a Thought, the podcast for curious minds exploring creativity, culture, and stories from the margins. I'm your host, Tom Spare, and in today's episode, I'm going to review an Olivia Dean concert I attended on the 14th of May in Copenhagen's Royal Arena. Throughout the episode, you'll hear excerpts and clips from the show. So, this is Spare a Thought, the Olivia Dean live review. I first discovered Olivia Dean in 2023. I was listening to music on Spotify and whatever I'd been listening to had passed, and then on came Dive. Dean had released her debut album, Messy, that year, for which she was nominated for the Mercury Prize Album of the Year. Over time, I've listened to more and more of Dean's back catalogue. Dive in various forms, album, acoustic and live, are always on my playlist. And 2025 was really her breakout year, with chart toppers including Nice to Each Other, Lady Lady, Man I Need, and So Easy to Fall in Love. And the record-breaking Rein Me In with Sam Fender, which at the time of recording has spent a record 12 weeks at number one. Now, it's worth noting that Dean's success is not instant or overnight. Her and her band have been working very hard over many years, perfecting their craft, touring at ever bigger venues. Dean attended the famous Brit School, which alumni include Adele, Ray, and Lola Young. She met two of her bandmates there, Finn and Dan, and when she was 17, she toured with and served as backing vocals for Rudimental and began to release music in her late teens and early 20s. Now, as someone who's now in their late 20s, she's released well over 50 songs, lots of EPs, now has 2 albums. And this has been as much about graft as luck or right time, right place. In the summer of 2025, I bagged a ticket to see Dean and her band at the Trinity Centre in Bristol. It was an intimate gig, no more than 300 people. She was playing songs from her forthcoming album, The Art of Loving. And halfway through the set, she did a Q&A with her manager where she talked through the process of making the album. Here's a clip.
With putting a second album out, there's a sense of peace, knowing you've done the first one, you kind of proved yourself a bit, or the opposite?
No, I think the second one's really scary because it's was the first one a fluke? Did you get away with something? And can you do it again? So I think approaching making a second album is really scary, but I actually had so much fun making this one, and I was so less worried about the product and more worried about enjoying the process. And so if you think it's shit, that's fine, but you can't say I didn't have fun.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't.
Wanted to ask about The Art of Loving, the whole concept of it. Can you talk a little bit about why you decided to call it The Art of Loving and what the kind of basis of the album is all about?
So actually, similarly to Messy, the album was inspired by an exhibition that I went to in LA, and the exhibition was called All About Love by an artist called Michaelaine Thomas, and her exhibition was in response to Bell Hooks' book All About Love, which I devoured. I loved that book, and it really changed my perception of love as a concept and it not being this fantasy thing that you hope's just going to happen to you one day and you've got nothing to do with it, and actually is something that you can manifest and practice in your life, like an instrument or any hobby, it's something you can get really good at. So
because we're not taught, and some of us need a little help again.
That's right, we're not taught. Imagine if there was a love module in school or in primary school. I feel like that would be good stuff to know, because we're just sort of hoping for the best. So this album was me kind of reflecting on my understanding of love, and especially in the last 2 years of my life. And I think I've covered a lot of the basis. I'm sure there's more to say, and I'm very aware that everybody sings about love. It's not this crazy topic I've invented, but I think it's the most important thing in the world. I'm sorry if that's cringy to you, but we need more love in our lives.
It does kind of make the world go round, so.
Right?
Not long after the show, the ticket ballot opened for the Art of Loving tour. I bought a tape of her second album, The Art of Loving, despite not having a tape player, and got access to pre-sale. When the day came to book, it was a bit of a nerve-wracking experience, and I ended up picking Copenhagen as my destination. The Royal Arena, a 17,000-seater venue, in Denmark's capital.
Region and our flight for Copenhagen. We are all delighted that you chose to fly with us today. It's a pleasure to have you on board. And on this flight this afternoon, we are operating a fairly busy flight today, so we do need your assistance making sure...
I had 4 nights in Copenhagen. I managed to squeeze in a good chunk of all the touristy stops. And then Thursday the 14th of May arrived. I headed over to the arena, got there way too early, and I waited. But boy, was it worth the wait. The lights dimmed, the art of loving was projected in cursive golden text onto dusty pink near-ceiling high curtains. Presented by Olivia Dean. The crowd erupted. She started with the opening song and the title of the second album, The Art of Loving, Dean's silhouette appearing across the curtains. And as one song ended, Nice to Each Other began to play, a song that had reached Barack Obama's summer playlist, by the way. As a brief interlude, Olivia has broken all manner of records in recent months, scooped up most of the major awards, including her first Grammy, Man I Need and her second album, The Art of Loving, stacked the charts, playlists, and radio coverage. At the conclusion of Nice to Each Other, Dean said hello to the crowd.
Wow, wow, wow. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Art of Loving tour. Has anybody in here seen us play before? Okay, a few people. Any people's first time? Okay, good. Welcome, everybody. Only really one rule this evening from me. Have a good time, okay? Just enjoy yourself. This is for you. This is also for me. And you can sing. You're allowed to sing. You're allowed to dance. You're also allowed to cry. Maybe. I don't know. Some of this music is kind of heartbreak vibes. But we're going to heal your heart too, and it's going to be amazing. And tonight is special because I have a few people in the crowd that I write songs with, and some of these songs will be playing tonight. Can we give it up for Mr. Maverick Sabre in the crowd this evening? Yes, and my dear friend Bastian, I think is over there somewhere. Give it up for Bastian! Yes. I'm very lucky to have come to Copenhagen on a few writing trips, and this place is very special to me, and we've written a lot of beautiful songs. Oh God, I'm getting emotional! No! We've written a lot of beautiful songs here, and I really love this city, so I'm really excited to play here this evening. Yeah.
And from there on in, Dean bounced around the stage, wired microphone in hand, shimmering in various outfits handpicked by her stylist Simone Bayen. Dean spoke her truth in between clusters of songs, offering words of encouragement. If you don't fancy yourself, how do you expect someone else to fancy you? Her set was dominated primarily by The Art of Loving, but was seamlessly intertwined with songs from her debut, Messy, including the titular track, Messy, and UFO. As well as various tracks featured on her EPs, and in the case of It Isn't Perfect But It Might Be, from the most recent Bridget Jones film, the audience knew every word, with a gender split of about 90% women, and that's not hyperbole. The rest, boyfriends, partners, and security staff, and me. Olivia Dean t-shirts were everywhere to be seen, along with big white dresses, booties, polka dot tops. It was a stylish crowd, no doubt inspired by their idol. The most moving parts of the show were the most vulnerable, the most intimate, a dedication to her grandmother in the song Carmen.
She came to the UK from the Caribbean when she was 18 years old. And she'd never even been on a plane before. And she came, and by the time she was my age, she had 4 children. Crazy. Wow, impressive. And one of those 4 children was my mum, and then my mum had me, and now I get to do this with my life, and I think that deserves to be celebrated. So it's a song about my granny, but maybe your granny, anybody who raised you, and any immigrant really, anyone who's brave enough to do something and keep the family going. This is Carmen.
First time on a plane, 18 you came, you found a door and you held it open. No way to know how to make a home in someone else's motherland. You transplanted a family tree and a part of it grew into me. You're stronger than I'll ever be, never got a jubilee. I'll throw it for you, Carmen. As Dean put it in her Grammy Award win earlier this year, I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. I wouldn't be here without her. I'm a product of her bravery, and I think those people deserve to be celebrated. We're nothing without each other. Dean's message is so important. Honor your heritage, value immigration, tell the stories of immigrants. The song was constructed during the Jubilee year of 2022. Dean was crafting a song asking that we celebrate her grandmother as much as her grandmother celebrated the late Queen. Carmen tells a story of how some of the most British people you'll ever meet are immigrants, particularly the Windrush generation. This was a generation of people seriously let down by the British state. And they were British citizens. They weren't migrants or immigrants. They were part of the British Empire. They were educated from across the empire. They were of the empire. All of us, no matter our heritage, owe it to Olivia's granny and the many thousands like her who came here to rebuild the country after the war. Now, after the jubilation, the honouring of Carmen, Dean's grandmother, Dean ratcheted up the drama when she took to the B stage, right out into the crowd. She sang loud. Dressed in a simple white strap top and sparkly white pearl Chanel dress and heels. The spotlight rains down on Dean, celestial, channeling her pain, her heartbreak and loss, and giving us all a chance to heal, a chance to mourn the loss of past love, and indeed to give us hope that a new love, however fleeting, will find us once more. At that moment, we were a congregation in Olivia Dean's church. She was the soloist, we the crowd, her choir. Heaven was brought to us, mere mortals. And with the crowd in awe, she continued with the bittersweet ballad of A Couple of Minutes, Dean combining incredible vocal control with raw emotion. She gave us the gut-wrenching but redemptive lyrics. Of course I still care. Love's never wasted when it's shared. And although it's over, I'll always be there. Only have a couple of minutes. Guess we're going back to real life. I always feel a swell of sadness hearing A Couple of Minutes. Regrets arrive and depart. But by the end of the song, I was lifted. I felt lighter. The final song on the B stage was introduced with a revelation to me. One of her early hits, The Hardest Part, was actually written in Copenhagen. In an interview for Haste, Dean explained, I went to Copenhagen to do writing with these guys I've written with a few times before, who actually wrote my first single with, Reason to Stay. And I'd literally just come out of a really serious relationship that I was in for 2 years. And it really felt like the closing chapter, when you're closing a chapter and starting a new one. And I just didn't want to be really sad. So I just wanted to write a song that was like a positive outlook on moving on from someone growing up and accepting that we're different people now. And it is sad, but unfortunately we can't really go back, so we need to go forward. So the hardest part was really a song that I needed to write for myself, just to remind me, you're moving on, babe, and you're doing okay. The hardest part marked a delineation from the heaviness to something a lot more alive. In a new dress, full of energy, disco balls, and a final flourish of songs including Baby Steps, Ladies' Room, and a cover of Curtis Mayfield's Move On Up, before concluding on her two biggest hits, Dive and Man I Need. In a sense, these two songs are bookends of the same story. Dive, from her first album, tells of a person letting themselves fall into love. Diving into you, diving into me, wanna swim good, and I wanna swim deep. Man I Need, the central character, is a woman who knows who she is. It's a rallying cry of a different kind of feminine power, a track that has captured the mood amongst young women and men alike, tired of the old ways and the toxic manosphere. It's a call for men to step up, as well as a call for women to accept nothing less than a partner ready to bring their best and to bring out the best in their partner. This is Olivia Dean's conclusion. Love, she says, is about bringing out the best in the people we care about, be that our partner, our friends, our family. She helps us all see that love is everywhere. And linked to this is one of my favourite songs of hers, which featured earlier in the set, I've Seen It. The more you look, the more you find. It's all around you all the time. Catches your eye, you blink, and then it's gone. Brings out the worst, brings out the best. I know it's somewhere in my chest. I guess it's been inside me all along. As Man I Need concluded with pink confetti, Dean beamed on the stage, her band smiling, soaking in the scenes around them. Olivia waved goodbye. The curtains closed on a joyous night as the words "The Art of Loving" were projected onto the curtains, followed by "Love's Never Wasted" when it's shared. Even as I record this now, I record it with a smile. My heart is full. I have also a sense of pride and proud of Olivia Dean and the grace that she's shown, the joy, the dedication she's shown to her work and to her craft. She's one of the best of an incredibly talented cadre of British female artists, including Ray, Lola Young and Dua Lipa, who are singing authentically and are conquering the world. Olivia Dean is leading the charge of this new British wave, driven by a determination not to give in to despair, but to say yes, to accept, to embrace, and indeed to be in love. I can summarize that night on the 14th of May 2026 in 2 words: joyous healing. A big thank you to Olivia, her band, and the massed choir of thousands in the Royal Arena, Copenhagen, for all the love. All the clips you heard were recorded at the Royal Arena, Copenhagen, with one recording in Bristol right at the start. All rights reserved to the authors and owners of the songs. You can follow this podcast on Instagram at SpareAFortMedia and on Substack on tomspare.substack.com. Next week, I'll be asking who owns the media, featuring the Executive Director of Media Justice, Stephen Rendros. This has been Spare a Thoughts, Olivia Dean live review. Spare a Thought is a Be the Change Media Network production. Thanks for listening.